Hello, witches and wizards! Welcome to my results for the owls! So if you watched my owls TBR or my vlogs, I posted 2 of them, you know that I was attempting to pass all of the owls required to become a curse breaker. This is my very first attempt at the owls, and I was very excited, but you know, circumstances have been a little tense for everybody. I started really strong. I knocked out 3 books the first week, and I was really on a roll, but being in quarantine, the vlogging really started weighing me down. So I got weeks 1 and 2 vlogged. You can catch those videos on my channel. I'm really happy with how they turned out, but week 3, I just couldn't make myself vlog anymore. So I decided to just let myself not vlog and to wrap it up in a single video at the end, which is what this video is. Thank you for being here. So, did I pass the owls required to become a curse breaker down the road? Let's find out. To be a curse breaker, I needed to complete 6 owls: ancient runes, arithmancy, charms, defense against the dark arts, potions, and transfiguration. So I started with transfiguration. The prompt for this subject is an animagus lecture, so a book that includes shape-shifting. I did some Googling, honestly, and found a random book that wasn't on my radar, that wasn't on my TBR, and I knew nothing about. Decided to go in completely blind without reading the synopsis. This book is Year 1 by Nora Roberts. It's the first in a series, and I should have read the synopsis. So definitely check out my week 1 vlog, if you haven't already, where I drag you along with me as I read this book. But let me just say, it's a book about a virus wiping out most of humanity. And I started reading it right as quarantine was starting. It was really a rough time for me. I was really stubborn and I refused to give up, so I kept reading and I did complete it, and I enjoyed it. In other circumstances, it would have been exactly what I wanted to read, but it was rough considering the circumstances. However, I did complete it, so 1 owl subject down, transfiguration. Next up, I chose to start my owl for arithmancy. The prompt for this one is the magical qualities of the number 2, balance, and opposites. So we had to read something outside of our usual genre. I cheated a little bit for this one. I was reading already book 2 of Check Please. It's Sticks and Scones. It's a graphic novel about college hockey players, and I love it. The second one was released during Owls, and I had to read it, and so I was trying to figure out how I could include it, and I decided to include it as a book outside of my usual genre. Now, graphic novels aren't a genre. I fully acknowledge that, but I don't read very many graphic novels. There you go. I also don't read a ton of contemporary, so I could say that I was reading it for that, but either way, I counted it for arithmancy, so 2 subjects done. Arithmancy, check. Next up was Ancient Runes. The prompt for this one is the Heart rune. You had to read a book with a heart on the cover or heart in the title. For this one, I chose Every Heart a Doorway by Shawnee McGuire. I've really wanted to read this series for a really long time, and it gets such rave reviews. I was sure I was going to love it. Sadly, I did not love it. I was a little bit let down, but I have hope for the rest of the series, and I think I will continue on. But this first one wasn't quite what I was hoping for. Regardless, I did complete it, and that is my 3rd subject, Ancient Runes. Check. Next up was potions. The prompt for this one is a shrinking potion. You had to read a book under 150 pages. So this is where I kind of make myself a liar, and I said I didn't read a lot of graphic novels, and that's why Check Please counted, and then I read another graphic novel. I read Fence Volume 3 by C.S. Picot. This is a graphic novel about boys at a prep school who are competing to be on the school's fencing team. I really liked it a lot. Each volume is really short, and there's just not a lot of progression of the overall plot, which kills me. It makes me want to wait until there are a whole bunch of volumes out for me to binge, but I don't have any self-control, so that's never going to happen. However, I did finish volume 3, and I really liked it a whole lot. So that is 4 subjects down. Potions, check. Next up was Defense Against the Dark Arts. The prompt for this one is Grindylows, so you had to read a book set on the coast or at sea. For this one, I read Beach Read by Emily Henry. I had a NetGalley arc of this one, and it was getting such rave reviews, I could not control myself. I had to read it right away, and I loved it, thank goodness. It's about 2 authors who have beach houses. They're actually lake houses, but I'm not quibbling with that. And they live next door to each other, and they enter into a sort of bet that they can't write each other's genre successfully. It is so much fun. I had a blast reading it, thank goodness. I did complete it, of course. That marks off my 5th subject, Defense Against the Dark Arts, check. And then I had my 6th and final subject, which is Charms. The prompt for this one is Lumos Maxima, so you had to read a book with an all-white cover. At the very last second, I threw away all of the plans that I had made in my TBR and instead read Wild for You by Kendall Ryan. This is the 6th book in a romance series about hockey players. I've only read one other book in the series and I liked it a lot, so I was very hopeful for this next book in the series. It just came out. I read it the day it came out. However, I was let down, which is a bummer, and I will give all of my thoughts on this book and all of the books that I read for Owls in my monthly wrap-up. But for this video, I'll just say I was let down. It didn't quite meet my expectations, but I did complete it. So that means I completed my 6th and final owl, Charms. So I did complete enough owls. I will move on to the newts in the fall and try and pursue my dream of being a curse breaker. But I also, in my TBR, said that I planned on succeeding at animagus training, which required arithmancy, potions, and transfiguration, which I did complete over the course of my owls. So I also got that. Yay, animagus now. So that's it. That is my Owls Readathon experience. It wasn't as exciting as I had hoped. I wasn't able to vlog the whole way, but I vlogged until I couldn't anymore, and I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed the books I read. I enjoyed the experience of it. I am very excited for newts. I would love to hear what you read to complete each of these prompts. I hope you had a wonderful Magical Readathon experience, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!